In Hawke's Bay, we have over 90,000 taonga and treasures that have been collected over the past 160 years. And of course, the more you collect, the more pressure is put on storage for those. Up until now, what isn't on display in the museum has had to be stored, and it's been temporarily housed in the old Rothmans building in Aotearoa. But now we're having, finally, a built-for-purpose storage facility in Hastings. This will be temperature controlled, heat controlled, humidity controlled, dust controlled. It'll be absolutely optimum storage conditions so that these precious items will be protected for generations to come. The old Briscoe's building, if you may recall it, is just a very boring old warehouse-style building. That is being transformed into what we call the dark house, and it'll be represented by the most beautiful curved wall, which is just starting to come into vision now because they've curved the corner off. Around the corner of that building will be a very beautiful black feather cloak. They are metal panels that will be laser engraved to look like the flights of feathers. And that feather cloak is going to symbolise protection and unity and bringing the collection together. Next to that, there's a new building which is being constructed, and it's called the Lighthouse, and it literally is just a big white box. Very contemporary, very definitely set apart from the dark house, and that's where we'll have obviously the reception area. There'll be an education room so that people will be able to have much greater interaction with the collection. There'll be a room for the staff to do conservation and management work, and there will also be the archive and reading room. So anyone who wants to go and research family history, research certain events and things that have happened in Hawke's Bay, they can make an appointment and go in there and have access to those archive records. In between the two, there's a thing called a vacuum, and that means that the air gap between the old collection area where everything is stored and the area where everyone is working will mean that there will be no transfer of temperature, humidity, dust. It'll keep the collection perfectly cared for. The building is well underway at the moment. Anybody that I'm talking to at the moment is getting very excited because they can finally start to see the external shape is starting to come into play. And by the middle of next year, which is roughly the completion date, it's going to be a very beautiful, very iconic building for Hawke's Bay. And it will be a lovely contrast of light and dark. Not only very practical because it will be storing the collection as it should be stored, but it will be a very beautiful sort of bookend to that lovely arts and culture precinct that we've got in Hastings. The funding is largely there. The building's well underway with money from both central and local government and Lotteries Commission grants. But we are hoping that we will be able to raise around $1 million from the community so that we can just get it over the line and have it completed to its optimum. This is largely being done by the beautiful feathers that make up the protective cloak around the building. Donors of $10,000 will have their names engraved on one of those feathers, and we will have a number of feathers that will be attributed to the Hawke's Bay community, and those will be made up from contributions through our Give a Little campaign. We don't want to put anybody off giving us a little or a lot. Obviously, the more major donors we have, the faster we'll get to our goal, but we hope that the whole community will get behind the Give a Little campaign as well. The collection belongs to everyone in Hawke's Bay, so it is our responsibility to look after it so that it can be used by generations to come. It's also a really important way of telling the story of Hawke's Bay, and that's relevant for everybody. So whether someone can put in a few dollars or many dollars, it's going to achieve the same result.